Don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing, or your right hand what your left hand's doing, right? Now, topically, it's very given, okay? Everyone goes straight forward for what it is obviously there. And of course, that is food, but it's food that we are all already aware of, okay? He's always showing us more. That's why we're commanded to dig deeper. Why would you not want your left hand to know what your right hand's doing? It's not just about, giving something or what you do in public. Don't make a big deal out of it so everyone can see it. That's obvious, right? So if it's obvious, it's topical. If it's really topical, you know exactly where to dig into. There's some background noise from a crop sprayer here. Hope it doesn't get in the way too much. So what does that mean? Well, you have flesh and spirit in you. You're left and right, or right and left, whichever way you want to look at that. Now, of course, if you are not at the point to where the spirit has taken control over the flesh, and the right and left no longer exist, okay? They're not there. They're one. You can't even call them anything other than one. You don't have a left or right anymore. So when you do things in the flesh, of course, there's a conflict with the spirit. You don't want it to see one another doing it, right? The outcome is instantly trouble. And the only way to secure that battle is to make sure that you put your flesh under control. That's not just sexual desires, okay? The flesh is everything. That goes from everything from gluttony to addictions. You name it, okay? That is our body and spirit. That's your left and right. They have not become one. That's the whole warning behind that. That's why it says, two or more are gathered, it is done for them, and he is there. Why doesn't it just say one or more? Okay? Because the two have to become one. I know a lot of people lean towards this topically. Well, there's two or more of us now. We can get this done, and then nothing happens. That's because humanity does not understand that very simple observation when you dig in. Now, with one man's prayer, or woman's, if it's righteous and they have caused that left and right not to exist, and now there's only one, much is accomplished. That's what he tells us, right? Because he is there. That's the whole point of it. Now, are you going to get to that point and never fall out of it? We are fallen, okay? And I'm not saying it's okay to sin. The whole point of this is to continually work on ourselves and make sure your left and right don't know what each one is doing, because if they're one, it doesn't matter. They can't see each other doing something because they are the one thing in one direction doing something. And of course, you don't want to look to the left or the right. We're commanded that already. So you literally don't want to look to the left or right spiritually or in the flesh. You just want one direction. I hope that helps. I had a question on that here recently and I forgot to address it. It's very important to dig deep. Every scripture that you think you've got, just like that one, two or more are gathered, and you're trying to find somebody to pray with so you can get this prayer done, well, then you've missed the entire picture. Unless those two people, both of them, have taken over the flesh with the spirit. And each one of those person are one. They're gathered together. It's done for them. He is there with them. You have to ask yourselves, why does it say where two or more are gathered? I mean, that should be a stopper for everyone on this earth that has ever read that. Where two or more are gathered, it is done for them. Really? You know, all through the scriptures, you're told that if you pray, it will be given to you, right? If you believe. Why doesn't it say, if one is gathered, it is done for them? Because you have to become one with yourself. You have to overcome the flesh. You cannot be two people. You cannot be a left and a right. You're commanded all through the scriptures not to go to the left or to the right. And that's myself included. Don't think for one moment that I don't fight things all day long, every day somehow. But it does become more easy and easier as you go along to control that. And that's why they hide the hand. You know, it's all, oh, look, they're hiding their hand. That's a warning. They actually know the scriptures, okay? There's some other things involved with that. Their hidden hand is holding certain positions and this, that, and the other. They're becoming one. They know how to do that, okay? They've went the other direction. They've went, the spirit is evil, make the flesh evil. They're all into that. That's what they are. That's their seed line. Don't look to the left or to the right. And I'm going to say this again. Any scripture that you hold dear to you, you better dig in. Because it's already been put on your heart that that scripture means a lot to you, particularly. And parables, and you know, all of that. If something really stands out to you and you think you've got it and you go to it all the time, well, you're being told that's where to dig into, okay? One parable could last you an entire lifetime and more. Endlessly. One parable. Because one parable opens up every single word in the Bible. And vice versa. Every scripture somewhere else in there will open up every parable. Do you not wonder why the Bible is one unit, right? And you're flipping back and forth from the left to the right. You know, some places they read from the left to the right. Some read to the right to the left. It's a continual, in our faces, warning. If truth be known, we're probably supposed to read straightforward, the lines. That would make more sense to me. Absolutely, and there would be less confusion. But it's most likely it's a warning. You know, we're told not to look to the left or right, and here we are in the Bible turning the pages left to the right or right to the left. You're reading from the right to the left. Some people read the other direction. This place is continue. Nothing but writing on the wall. And yes, wall backwards is law without the extra L, because the extra L was put in there to confuse everyone so they wouldn't see the law in the wall. And, you know, the Bible, in any book, he says, knock, search, seek. Clearly, when you open the Bible, it's a door, okay? It's absolutely a doorway. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them. Iron sharpens iron. And when I say that, I really mean that, because I'm continually sharpened when there's questions in between the body, or if I'm asked a question, doesn't mean I have the answer. A lot of times I have the answer only because that question was given to me and I go digging in that area and I can share. And iron sharpens iron. Many times I'm sharpened from people. I'm sharpened from people who think they're not sharpening. Okay? And that sharpening thing, you know, you can have something very, very sharp, But if you have critical thinking and common sense involved, you can sharpen that continually. You can never say, okay, that's as sharp as it gets. We can always be more sharpened.